Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the NS9 Postgame Show powered by Primanti Brothers. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we have, of course, Dougie Fresh. Doug, what's going on?
Hey, it was a eventful game. I don't know if I've quite processed it yet. Right? Yeah.
That's probably the fairest point we're going to make all night. Yeah. This game was entertaining by all means. And, as Pirates fans, you're very excited in the middle part. And even in the ninth inning, you're starting to get excited because it looked like things might be happening and the Pirates, came close. The Pirates do lose today 9-8 against the Diamondbacks in the first game of this 3-game series. Pretty crucial series. We've talked about leading up. The Diamondbacks are definitely in the wild card hunt here ahead of the Pirates. So, winning this series is a big step in the right direction. They've already won the Houston Astros series. This is like that second series of this pretty tough stretch they have. They lose game one. Luis Ortiz started. Man, Doug, it did not look pretty at all. He gives up 5 earned runs in the first inning, triple, which turns into an error and a score, 3 straight home runs, and a walk an
Oneil Cruz error, right? Which is not encouraging, right? Yeah.
So that's how it started.
And I'm now convinced that the Pirates should have never traded Josh Bell. I'm convinced that the Pirates never should have traded Josh Bell. They didn't need to play him. They just needed to keep him from playing against us. They could have just kept him as the 26th man. The last guy out of the bullpen, I don't care. But, man, he's Mickey Mantle when he plays against us. Yeah, it was.
Well, if you think about it this way.
Ortiz looked awful, and it.
No, go ahead.
No, I say he looked awful, and we're so gun shy. We've got so much PTSD. We think, okay, it was all a fluke. He's lost it. And so it was nice to see him buckle down and pitch really well throughout the rest of the game. This is not our formula. We don't score 8 runs and lose. So it was a kind of a strange game to watch, and you guys had a great debate about records when we score 8 runs. So
yeah, absolutely. But it was. Luis Ortiz comes out, and Doug. I know Jim tweeted it, but they came out with a plan. And I don't know if he was tipping pitches. I don't know what it was, but they came out attacking. They were all over his fastball. They weren't missing anything, and they obviously, 3 straight home runs in 5 pitches speaks. Right. So again, I don't know what was really happening, because also at the same time, after that first inning, he settled down. So I don't even know if maybe it was alerted, like, hey, you are tipping pitches, and it was immediate change. Right. What happened? But again, they came out with a game plan. They attacked, and boy, did they ever succeed in that plan. And again, It was 5-0. However, like, he goes 4.2 hitless, after the 5-run score. So
nothing else that makes you feel better about the next start, right?
What's that?
I said, there's nothing else that makes you feel better about the next start. It's like, okay, he didn't completely lose it. He didn't come out and give up 5 runs in the first and then 3 in the second. He did. He pitched fantastic after that. It was, like you said, I don't know if they had saw something, they picked up on something. This is an outstanding hitting team. They had 41 home runs in July, I think they said. That was the second most in baseball. They've picked right up in August. They are a really good hitting team. Now, that does not explain 5 runs in the first inning.
Yeah.
But
For sure.
he to his credit, I mean, I know it's one of those weird things that we do all the time. A guy will load the bases and then he gets out of it, and we're like, "Oh, he pitched great." Well, he did load the base, right? And yes, he did give up 5 runs, and that's unacceptable. Typically, this team cannot overcome that. However, he did pitch well. He seemed to get it, figured something out, realized what he was doing wrong, what have you. But he didn't crumble, and so I take a little solace in that.
Yeah, I mean, again, like this isn't excusing him giving up 5 runs in the first inning. That's not a good thing, obviously. But to his credit,
Right.
he didn't, like you say, crumble. It didn't fall apart. If he wasn't on and he was pitching bad, this could have been a 2 inning, a 3 inning outing for him, and he's done. And then what happens? You go through that bullpen, and you still have 2 very important games coming in afterwards. So, like, credit to him giving up those 5 runs and not melting down and just having a terrible day, but persevering, pitching through it, pitching well enough that it goes 5.1. Yes, he does end up giving another earned run. He gives up a double into the 6th inning. That's when they yanked him, and that double ends up scoring off of a double that was hit immediately after. But again, like credit to him, he pitched very effective. And so again, like this doesn't just save the bullpen for the next few days, but it allowed the Pirates to still be in the game. Obviously, they still lost, but if he did give up more and it turns into an 8-0 game, 9-0 game, or whatever after the 5 runs, they're still not even in this. They came back. I mean, they battled, they chipped away. It was 5-2, 5-3, 5-4. I mean, you know what I mean? Like then it became 6-4 and 6-6, 7-6, Pirates take the lead. That doesn't happen if Luis Ortiz doesn't buckle down and limit damage after that first inning.
Right.
So we're not excusing his first inning. It was
He gave him
bad,
a chance after the
but
first inning.
credit
Right.
to him holding it down afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's funny. The game they lost against Houston, they took the 4-0 lead. I felt like they're going to lose this game. This is one of those games where it looked like they're just going to score all the runs in one inning, and then they're going to be shut out the rest of the game. And sure enough, that's what happened. This game, they gave up the 5, and I'm like, they still have a chance. It's early, right? They do. To Shelton's credit, to this team's credit, they scrap, they fight, they don't give up. They play to the 27th out, that sort of thing, all those good cliches.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of, this was it was a crazy game, entertaining game, but a lot of encouraging signs. I mean, 5 for 5, Oneil Cruz. I mean, come on, some clutch hitting. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And right, like to move on from Luis Ortiz, again, we talked about that. The offense, it didn't look strong at first. They're collecting a hit here and there, but it was like, it's still like the same buckos that they could use some more offense, maybe. Brian De La Cruz isn't the answer yet so far. But to like your
Not quite
point,
yet.
and the credit of Shelton and this team, that they do chip away. They do not give up and such. And, they started chipping away at it, and the scoring started to break. And a big part of that today was Oneil Cruz. He had a terrible series against the Astros. And, this last game, that game on Wednesday, was probably the worst game of his entire career. And it looked like he was down on himself. The entire city of Pittsburgh was talking about him yesterday. Is he a shortstop? Is he this? Is he that? Is he even a good player? Everybody had some criticism on Oneil Cruz, or at least some talking points, it seemed, right? And as I jokingly tweeted, the picture, but it's like he took that personally. I know he made the error today to kick off things, right? That the triplet turned into a scoring run there.
Right. He didn't make anyone feel better.
No, it didn't. It's like, here we go again, right where we left off.
Yeah.
It was a bad throw. And I feel like, too, that's a throw that Brian also catches usually. I feel like Corbin Carroll is probably like in the way and didn't get a good sight on the ball, and that's why I got past him also. Also, Luis Ortiz wasn't backing him up, so not good team ball there as well as a whole. But again, Oneil Cruz comes out, has 5 hits on the day, goes 5 for 5. Some big clutch hits, had a stolen base at the 9th inning that was big. This is why you live with the lumps. They're going to come. He's not a perfect defender. He's not he had a very good stretch there, and I was giving him his flowers for, putting things together. I said, what was it, like two games, like a 39 game stretch, or 2 errors, I should say, in a 39 game stretch, and then like he's had what, 7, I feel like, in the past 2 series.
Right.
But you saw the bat. You see the bat, 5 for 5. His OPS now is at a 777.
Yeah, I mean he's really turned it on. I mean he does seem to be. I don't know what the right phrase is. Is he breaking out? Is he coming into his own? What have you? But we certainly see. What all the hype was about, right? I mean, he scuffled a little last year, finished kind of strong. He's an erratic player. His rookie season, he got hurt last year. He lost a lot of time. I mean, you're right. There's going to be games where, he just infuriates you. But, I mean, there's a lot of talent there, and it seems to be coming together. And he had been playing better defensively. Yeah, I mean, but he's going to go through those stretches, right? It's all part of him maturing as a ball player. He's 6'7". There's a lot of holes in that swing, But my God, again, 5 for 5, and it just, I mean, what a bounce back, right? He didn't bounce. He's had a terrible series, like you said, and then he starts out with an error, which again could make some guys implode. I think, right? It's just like, oh no, here we go again. And, he put it behind him, and he just, sort of put his head down and got back to work. And like you said, it was an impressive performance, an encouraging, performance from him.
Much like we talked about with Luis Ortiz, like this is what you want to see. This isn't trying to just, again, excuse what happened in the past or excuse the error today. But when you have a bad game, okay, I guess the mentality, I talk about this with Jared Jones all the time. That guy competes every single pitch, right? He doesn't want to lose any pitch. And when he loses even one pitch, it seems like he gets down himself, but it's not to implode, right? Like just mentally, he's got it. He's tough. And like you're talking here about Cruz, he could easily just collapse. He could come in here and, overthinking and being worried about this, worried about that, worried to make mistakes. And he says, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to try to win a ball game. And we talked like Wednesday was probably the worst game you've ever seen him play. I'm not saying this is the best game you've seen him play, but you've never seen him go 5 for 5.
Never seen him get 5 hits in a game before, right? So
yeah. So to respond from that game
against
going
pretty good
5
pitcher,
for 5 speaks a lot to him and that mentality.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have to put up. First of all, there's no one else. Well, I guess now, Kiner Falafel could play shortstop, but I mean, you don't want to move him off shortstop, right? I mean, he's actually been playing it pretty well. He gets to some balls that nobody else can, and he's turning it up as a hitter. He's growing. He's evolving right in front of our eyes, and he can. Yeah. I'll take some errors. Give me some more 5 for 5 games. Give me some, some more home runs, more RBIs, and it will be fine.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't want that many errors. I still want to limit them, but this is why you take
of course,
the lumps.
but right. You expect him. I mean, again, he's what, a month into like his second season of Major League play, right?
Fair.
So,
yep,
he's growing. I mean, I expect him to get better. I expect him to improve defensively. I expect him to be more focused, and because he does have some of those lapses, and that's part of the growth process. And I think we're seeing it. Again, like I said, it was a nice stretch. 39 games with only 2 errors. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. We losing Doug?
I don't think it's my internet. I think it's DiNardo's.
Oh, I don't know. We'll find out. But I hear you. But yeah, so again, just going back to this game, the Pirates, they did chip away. I mean, Brian Reynolds had, a big moment as well. Brian Reynolds goes 2 for 5. I mean, just the top of the lineup. Kutch goes 2 for 4 with a walk. Brian Reynolds goes 2 for 5 with a big double there, 2 RBIs. Oneil Cruz, we talked 5 for 5 with 2 RBI. Brian De La Cruz hasn't done anything yet. 0 for 5 day for him. You would have liked to see him come through once,
one of those
twice today.
opportunities.
There was some, I'm not gonna say a big moment, but there's certainly an opportunity of that. That's why we traded for you. He goes 0 for 5
just move
today.
the chain along, right?
Right. But Rowdy had a big clutch hit in the 9th. So it was, again, Oneil Cruz gets that single in the 9th inning. He's on first. He's still second. Big stolen base, right? Takes away the double play. Rowdy Tellez is up. He sends one to right center. Drives in Oneil Cruz. Xander was at the ball game. How about that, Doug? His lucky charm Xander at the ball game.
The Rowdy or somebody, the Pirates, NS9 GoFundMe, we should get that kid season tickets.
Yes. We're also whatever moving costs, because I assume he lives. I forget where he lives. I think he lives probably like Milwaukee, right? I assume.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we need to relocate him to Pittsburgh. But yeah, so big hit from him, scores Oneil Cruz, and again makes it a 9-8 ball game. The vibes all out there. You just felt good. And that's one thing too, like this ballpark was definitely buzzing. And it's been for some time now. I mean, the weekend series, it gets pretty packed, and it just goes to show once again. I mean, Pittsburgh is definitely it's a baseball town.
It is a baseball town, right? And part of the reason they don't show up when the team's losing 100 games or 100 game pace 3 years in a row is because they're a baseball town, and they know better. They know that when ownership and management's not trying, why should they attend? So yeah, you give them a good product, and they're going to come out. They're going to be into it. You know, this is the fan base that made Cueto drop the ball, right? You know, so
winning solves a lot of things. It solves a lot of things.
Sure does.
Guess what? Losing complicates a lot of things. And if you're just going to lose after year after year after year, they're not going to show up. And I don't blame them.
Right.
But you see this, they're not even
people for not paying. Yeah.
Right. And like, they're barely a winning team right now. And you see what they're doing right now. You know, they're on the outside looking in on the wild card. Right. Barely a winning team.
Yeah.
And you see what the stadium's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Even on weekday, like a Wednesday, you're seeing the games packed for Paul Skeens, you know, pitching and such. So,
right.
Anyways, yeah, I mean, that's why I said this game, even though it was a loss, it was certainly entertaining. If for the fans watching at home, for the fans watching the stadium, I mean, the Pirates coming back from a 5-0 deficit where, just like you said, you just felt like there's no way this team is going to be able to come back from this. And they did. Fortunately, weren't able to hold on to it. Aroldis Chapman enters the game when they had the lead. And Doug, I'm going to start off with this point. He pitched very well. Two immediately outs, strikeouts. Yes, he was pumping 100 miles an hour plus easily. I'm so happy that they did decide to keep him at the deadline. This is why you do. I know he had the early season struggles. It's which Chapman you're getting. That guy has been very, very consistent as of late. But the game escapes. He gives up a home run to Josh Bell to tie it. I don't know if that ball, I mean, we can talk about the Neil Huntington simulations. I think you can simulate that at bat 10,000 times. And that's the one time Josh Bell connects with that pitch. Right. Just connects with it, period. And it goes for a home run.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those you just tip your hat. I'm not blaming Chapman for that. Chapman has been pitching lights out lately. That was a great pitch. And Josh Bell, like I said, he's Mickey Mantle against the Pirates. And he just, I mean, he just got it and crushed it. I don't know how he did it, but that was May of what year? It was May of 19. Was that what was that great? He had that one great month.
Yeah. No, it would have been 18, right? Because 19 it was a really bad year. I think it was 18. Yeah,
19.
Really,
I
really
think that's right. Yeah, because 19, right? Yeah.
But he did. I mean, that guy was awesome. But here's the thing, though, too. This is going back to your point. I mean, maybe the Pirates should have kept him because they didn't get anything for him.
Yeah.
And it just seems every time he returns to Pittsburgh, he just wrecks this team. So just They should have
He's
just
hitting
kept
over
them just
400 against the Pirates. Yeah.
just to
Yeah.
get him away from
And it's not
any
like they
other
went and solved first base, right? It's not like they
right.
solved first base. It's not like they got rid of Josh Bell and got half a season of Will Crow and also got a first baseman. No, I mean, you could have just left him there. I mean, we don't need Eddie Ean and Altoona. What good's that doing?
Yeah. Will Crow. Right.
Yeah.
Right. But he does. Josh Bell had a great game again today. I'm not gonna say he single-handedly beat the Pirates. He was definitely a big part of it though. Great game for Josh Bell.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, talking about Chapman.
First game for Arizona, 2 home runs. Yeah.
Right. But Josh Bell looked excellent. So actually, okay, so this is kind of funny. They made 2 deadline acquisitions, which I talked about, when we talked about on NS9 Live. When you look at the teams ahead of the Pirates, what they did the deadline, you could argue, I feel comfortable in saying that they probably made more impactful moves for this season, except for Arizona. Well, hey, Josh Bell was the acquisitions. He hits 2 home runs today. But you know what? The other acquisition was AJ Puck. And AJ Puck gave up. I mean, he was allowing runs right and left.
Yeah.
So mixed reviews, I guess, on the trade deadline for them with the Pirates.
Yeah, exactly. They're not, they can't quite score that one yet. You need more data.
Right. But they both helped and hurt the Pirates.
But,
today.
Puck was that guy. Yeah. That was something. We've had success. Remember, Puck started in that Miami series when we went to Miami and, swept 4 from them. He gave up like 5 or 6 in the first inning. I can't remember now, but man, Pirates seem to hit, AJ Puck, but he's been really good too. So, I mean, you got to credit the Pirates. It would have been easy to fold it in after 5-0 in the first.
Yeah.
And they, I mean, this is, again, exact opposite. We're usually strong on starting pitching in the back end of the bullpen, and we don't score. Today we scored. The starting pitching didn't do very well, and the 7 and 8 guys couldn't. Again, I don't fault Chapman. He, but he did give up the home run, and then Holderman's been scuffling lately.
So that's the next thing I want to talk about. Yeah. So again, like you can live with that home run by Chapman because again, it was a great pitch. Just you got to tip your cap to Josh Bell to connect with it in time, but it's a tied ball game. You hit the reset button. It's a tied game. Holderman comes
just
in
tied it
and,
up, right? Yeah.
And he gives up the lead. And you can say this happens. I mean, every team's not going to win every single game. Everyone's not going to be perfect, but Holderman had a very strong start, a very good first half of this year, but he has been struggling lately. And I'm sure plenty of people right now, I understand Pirates fans, we get it, right? Are writing off Holderman. He's terrible. He sucks. Get him off the team or whatnot. Hey, you were talking about this. You're talking the same thing about Chapman at one time. You're talking the same thing about Bednar at one time. You're talking the same thing about Majinski at one time, right? Like everyone's going to go through their lumps. It just seems as if right now, maybe Holderman's this one in particular that's going through his lumps. I'm not ready to write him off by all any means. He was pitching his ass off.
Not at all. Right. I mean, we struggle because we're not used to having important games, right? As Jim likes to say, this is the most important series of the year. This is the most important game of the year, and we're having that. And then if somebody has a bad performance, right, we immediately he sucks. He should be gone forever. And no, I mean, Holderman's been great this year. He is scuffling. If maybe they bumped him down to the 7th inning now instead of the 8th, or gave him, 10 days off or something, and whatever. I mean, or just pitch him in a little less delicate situations. Yeah, no, not. I mean, I'm just saying a little phantom.
I'm just saying that we had a whole fiasco with Jose Hernandez. Well, now he can't pitch because he had too many days off. It's like, well, when can he pitch again? Because it's the same excuse every day, and then he gets DFA.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, this is 3 straight appearances by Holderman where he's given up 3 earned run, 2 earned, 1, and then of course today's earned run as well. So yes, he hasn't been pitching that well, but again, he's been pretty damn good for the most part of the season. I'm not writing him off yet. Just acknowledging, though, he isn't at his peak performance right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hopefully he sorts it out soon. Like I said, we've watched just about every pitcher on the team go through this. So, and we've seen again, AJ Puck came in and been pitching lights out, and we were, roughed him up. We've gotten to some good relief pitchers here recently. We did it against the Phillies. We did it against the Astros. It does happen, and it tends to happen more this time of year. Pitchers are wearing down. They're tired. The dog days of summer, all that sort of stuff start catching up to them. So it's good that we're scoring more runs, right? It's time to give these guys some room, room for error, something they haven't had most of the year.
Yep. But again, like, this is why having a Chapman on our team is so crucial at this point in time, because you have that depth. Now, of course, Mlodzinski on the IL eliminates a bit of that at this point in time, but with Halderman scuffling of late, you have Chapman there who's looking really, really good. I mean, Chapman to me is your new setup guy at this point in time. And again, this isn't just like, Halderman.
Yeah, no problem with him in the eighth.
You're bad. I'm writing you off. It's just, you know what, Halderman, let's sit you back. This is why Chapman's a $10.5 million guy.
Right. Practically the highest.
It's okay that he ends up being the setup man.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I sort of thought when we got Chapman, he would be the setup man anyway. Right. I mean, it's just like, okay, they'll bump, we'll put Mlodzinski in the sixth. This is back when we had a healthy bullpen, get Barucki and, all these guys.
Right.
But yeah, well, I mean, Chapman in the eighth is fine. Right. I have no problem. You could pitch Chapman in the ninth and I'm not going to be mad given, if the circumstances call for it. So, and I mean, Dennis Santana gave up a run, but he's been pitching well.
Yes.
Yeah, the first thing I thought when he gave up a run, they're gonna, let's run him out of town. He gave up a run, So, but he's been pitching well. He could certainly again pitch in a sixth inning, a seventh inning, and take some pressure off Halderman, I think. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm not too worried yet, but it's definitely something to pay attention to and monitor.
Yeah, but you're right. Again, like Santana does give that a run. He has also been pitching very, very well of late. It wasn't the night for the pitching today. And like, it just really stinks because the pitching has been the strong point. It usually comes through. Luis Ortiz has been very, very good of late. The bullpen's typically been pretty damn good of late also. So honestly, if right. You knew coming into this series that Mitch Keller was going to pitch Saturday, Paul Skeens was going to pitch Sunday. So if you were told on Friday that the Pirates were going to score 8 runs, a sweep's coming, right?
Yeah.
At least 2 of them.
You got your broom ready, right? Exactly.
Right. And they lose tonight, scoring 8 runs.
I see all these people blaming this on Shelton. I mean, who was Shelton supposed to go to in the 8th inning, right? Who was he supposed to go to in the 7th inning? Right. I mean, those are your guys, right? I mean, that's who you're supposed to pitch. He made the right call. They have to execute. They didn't.
Right.
Go get them tomorrow, boys. I mean, I don't, no one needs to be run out of town or fired for tonight's game. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess just news and notes here. Brian Hayes also had 2 hits today.
Yeah.
If you want to call that one a hit.
Yeah.
But I do want to say this. This is kind of why I don't want to poo-poo on him so much. But like, he hasn't been good. And I know it was against the righty and had 2 hits, but like, he's been collecting hits. At least in a good part of July, he was like collecting hits, but wasn't doing any damage about like extra bases. I mean, he has 4 since June 1st. Yes, also top of my head, Jim, fact check me because you know how I am, but off of memory, I think it's 4 extra base hits since June 1st.
Did you do our bet online read yet? Did I miss that? Was I not paying attention? The reason I ask is because I placed a bet on Brian Hayes to lead the league in doubles.
No, you didn't.
It's just hilarious.
Well, you lost. I will definitely read it, though. I think I did forget.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything online sports betting. Right now, you can receive a 50% free bet up to $250 on your first deposit to bet on anything from the Olympics to baseball to Formula One racing. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino to get on the game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today, get on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE. for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online, the game starts here. So there you go. Anyways,
I did bet on Paul Skeens to win Rookie of the Year. So I mean, not all of my bets were stupid. So
I feel pretty confident in that.
And it was
Did you also do for Cy Young?
2000.
Because I'm starting to feel kind of.
Oh, it's off the board.
That.
I should have. I'm thinking I might go look at that one, but you can't bet him to win Rookie of the Year now. They've pulled it off the board. So
well, I'll say this: win, so. The Pirates come out today and saying that they're probably going to pitch 50 more innings. I don't know if they're going to. We know how the Raiders are. I don't know if they're going to give them Cy Young with those limited amount of innings for the year.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because what has he got now? 80 something. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, right around there. So I don't think they're going to do it for like 130. But anyways, yeah, I don't know, man. It was just one of those. It's a loss. They fought. They didn't come through. But there's 2 more games, and what's important is winning series.
It was so much better that it was a better loss to watch than most of the ones we have witnessed the year. You know what I'm saying? At least they were hitting the ball. They were they were in it. They instead of these lackluster 8 shutout inning type games. So
it was encouraging. For a loss, it was encouraging.
Yeah, and the Hayes thing, Hayes been so bad. If he gives me singles, the rest is if he can give me singles at 280, hitting 280 clip with on base of 350, I will take it. Right. Earlier in the year, I was just begging people to make productive outs. Right. And so if you can make, unproductive hits, at least they're not, you're still moving the line along. You're giving somebody else a chance. So,
Yep.
I don't want to put too much more pressure on it.
But anyways, as mentioning, right, you have Keller, you have Skeens. There's still a good opportunity for them to take 2 out of 3 in this series. And again, that's what's important. You, of course, would want to see a sweep. And there was an opportunity that, you had game 1 at some point, this game in the bag and could have done that. They weren't able to hold on to it. But Keller faces Montgomery tomorrow. Montgomery has not been pitching well this year. We know how good Keller has been. And then Skeens on Sunday, they can still take 2 out of 3. On Monday, you're looking back and saying, you know what? Hey, you took 2 out of 3 from Houston, took 2 out of 3 from Arizona. Now you got the Padres. If you can continue doing that, if you go 2 out of 3 in all these series, you're doing some good things. Right. And that's what you really want to see.
You'll make up ground. Right. And there's 2 months left, right? So that's how you don't need to go on a 10-game win streak now. Just win 2 out of 3. Just chip away. If they take 2 out of 3 from Arizona, that means they've tied the season series. So we've not lost. They didn't gain any ground on them, but we didn't lose any either. So,
right.
But yeah, I expect Keller to shove tomorrow. I think he's going to be great.
Some good words from Doug. All right, Keller, it's on you now. Because if you don't, Doug's gonna come down with a hammer. All right,
I'll be
Let's
back.
Get out of here then. Everyone, as always, we appreciate you for watching, joining us tonight. If you're listening to the podcast, also appreciate you. Give us a review if you want to. Like, follow, subscribe on YouTube as well. Everyone on TikTok, thanks for joining. Hope you follow along as well. We'll be back tomorrow after the game. See you guys then, and bye-bye.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.